I've had a really interesting path to where I am today. I've started off in sport as an athlete. I grew through baseball and played baseball in the US. Lived and worked over there for 13 years. But my passion for sport has always been something that I'd acted on, but being able to have impact in someone else's life has always been really important to me. So taking a career path firstly through teaching and coaching was something that gave me access to have that sort of impact in people's lives. And as I grew in that, I found that roles in the administration of sport gave me the opportunity to have greater impacts on people and sport and structures and systems. So that's how I progressed through to where I am today. There's so many skills that you think would be really valuable in an executive role, but one of the things I would provide advice to young people considering a sports career is get some experience early. Go to sports organisations, go to businesses, go to different types of industries and get experience. Volunteer, do practical work for free, or you get paid internships, but do the work while you're studying. Do some work, get some experience. It's invaluable. Some of the skills really revolve around working with people, and it's a varied role. So every day you're going to deal with lots and lots of different people in different levels of your organisation and other organisations. So one day you could be dealing with people in government. The next hour you could be speaking to a volunteer who's given 30 years of service to your sport. So you're dealing with lots of different people, plus managing. I manage a small team, so learning to come to terms with the skills involved in working with people and managing people and having them give their best every single day, similar to the way you would put together a team. On the field is you're developing and growing athletes and trying to get the best out of them, and it's the same with our team at Triathlon Queensland. We're working hard and trying to get the best every day. I think balanced is how I'd say would be a word there. There's definitely I definitely try to approach it with some balance, as in there are times where we find that the pace of sport varies. So there are times where you are very overworked, you seem overworked, and there's a lot on, and then there's other times where it slows down quite a lot. So the pace of the office really ebbs and flows from business unit to business unit. So we've created a structure, a wagon wheel structure, where everybody has the ability to chip in where someone's workload increases, and everyone has the ability to chip in and alleviate that. So there's a lot of balance with the approach that I take in our office, and I certainly focus on people first. So I know that if our team feels like they're taken care of and respected and part of the team, that they'll give their very best to the sport every day. The most rewarding aspects certainly are the moments you experience the joys of other people's success. So for me, when I was playing, and it was great. You get the feeling of success, you get the feeling of winning, you get the feeling of playing well individually. But I always found greater success and an internal sense of success when I had been a coach or a teacher and someone else had achieved something due to the work that I had done to help them. And I think that's today the same. Is if there is a program that we're operating that introduces new people to the sport, if there's it could be marketing, it could be anything, a new website that you launch, any sort of service you provide for your clubs where they feel valued and your people feel like you're meeting their expectations and exceeding their expectations, and you're doing something that helps them enjoy their sport and love their sport. Those are the senses of successes that we have. The challenges, probably I would consider the pace of sport challenging, because most people get into the sports industry because it feels and looks sexy, but it's a job. It is a job that you often get into on the ground, and it's challenging. You're learning your craft, and you really have to sort of come up to speed with the nuances of our sport. Triathlon is quite challenging to understand initially. And that would be the same with any sport that you're not quite familiar with. So those paces and movements within sport would be some of the biggest challenges, aside from something like technology, which is always moving so fast. The lesson I've learned is to be patient, because I come from sport, and I know a lot of people that work in sport come from sport, but being patient is really key, because you come in with your own expectations and your own sense of passion, wanting to do something so intensely, and being able to take a balanced, poised approach to your day-to-day work life is really important. You can have much greater impact long term. Short wins are fantastic, but the long-term impact that you can have on sport comes from balance and patience and really working through each project day by day, and making sure you're always focused on the greater strategic impact that you can have for your organisation and for the sport itself. So that would probably be the biggest lesson I've learned. So I really focus on two things when I'm recruiting a new team member. One is the specific skills required for the role. So most recently we've recruited for a marketing and sponsorship role. So we really focus down a lot on both of the skill sets necessary for marketing. For that particular role, the marketing piece came out probably a little bit stronger than the sponsorship skill sets, and although those can be quite different personality types, but the marketing skills were quite necessary for us as we recruited that role. So the second piece I really focused down on is cultural fit for our organisation, and making sure that being a part of our team is something that is going to be a really, really important part of this potential employee's life, work life, and ensuring that we'll have the opportunity to meld closely and really be effective with what we do each day. There's a lot of movement in sport now to move to one management, which is a really familiar term in most sporting people's language now. There will always be changes in technology, but I think as sport continues to grow and mature, it moves into more corporate approaches and continues to become more and more professional. Some sports are quite well more organised and are able to accelerate that quite a bit more, but some of the middle range and smaller sports are certainly accelerating their approach to professionalism. So we're seeing sport really employ people who may not necessarily be sports people or from sport, although it certainly helps that you have a deep understanding of how sport operates, but there are those changes on the horizon. It's really important to us that we use these strategies in our health and wellbeing program to, one, have impact on the day-to-day life of our employees, but also to assist us in bringing people closer together as a team. So we have an open lunch policy, so we're more than open for people to go to the gym, run, swim at lunchtime is always a really encouraged practice. And the second thing is we have activities twice a year, and our activities are not go to lunch and have a drink and all those types of things. We always have to do something active. So our team organises and chooses together an activity to do, and typically that means trying a sport or an activity that the group collectively hasn't done together before or done before. So, and that could be anything. We've done rifle, we've done sand tobogganing, we've done golf. There's you name it. There's a lot of activities that we've done or had a go of, and particularly ones that people have not been exposed to. So we generally leverage our relationships with our other sports to create activities twice a year.
Love that.
So my personal routine is certainly early to rise. So it's typically a 4 a.m. get up every day, and I start with after coffee. I start with something active, and typically now, having been in triathlon, it's growing up as a baseball player. Shifting into triathlon is very different. So I was also a swimmer growing up, but moving into an endurance-based sport was very, very challenging. So I wanted to make sure that I had a crack at that myself, and I certainly enjoy the triathlon training, going to the gym, but something active first thing every morning to start my day before I spend some time with my family before school and work commences there. And like I said before, is the encouraged lunchtime activity that helps you really get over that afternoon lull. I find that most everybody comes back in refreshed and ready to hit the afternoon and finish off the day with something active at lunchtime.